on now. Yeah.
Welcome back to my channel. Hit that like, subscribe button, and feel free to leave a comment below. Man, let me holler at y'all real quick about this homie BFD from Northern California. I got to put some respect on his name because I don't think he's gotten all the flowers he deserves. I've been watching his moves for a while now, and let me tell you, this dude is dropping straight heat like Juggernaut, Enlighten, Transparency. I'm talking about songs that slap so hard you feel like you gotta double check your speakers to make sure they didn't blow out. You know what I mean? And it's not just the music. Lately, he's been stepping up the game with visuals. You know how it is in this era. People ain't just listening, they're watching. And BFD is delivering on that front too. He's out here putting in work. But here's the thing. I honestly believe he could take off in a major way if he just made the right connections and got those visuals polished up even more. Shoot, man, this dude could blow up. Now, don't get me wrong. I get it. The North got its own thing going on. And sometimes when you're from that scene, stepping outside of it feels like breaking some kind of unwritten rule. Like, you moving different. You ain't one of us no more. Nah, bro. It ain't even like that. Expanding your network ain't disloyal. It's smart. See, the thing I respect about BFD is he stays true to himself. He's not out here trying to be something he's not just to get attention. He's solid. And I respect that heavily. But here's the reality. Sometimes you got to take your talents beyond the North. Not because you're running away from it, but because you're trying to open doors for others. And that's where the real elevation happens. It's like this. You can stay in your neighborhood forever. And yeah, you'll be good with your people. But what happens when you start thinking bigger? When you start thinking about putting your whole city on the map? That's what I see for BFD. He's got that potential to be the guy who kicks down the door so the rest of the North can walk through it. You know what I mean? But let's be real. Getting out of your comfort zone ain't easy. Especially when politics are involved. And if you know, you know. The politics in the rap game are just as real as the ones in the streets. But you can't let that hold you back. You got to move around, meet new people, and make connections without compromising who you are. And let me just say this. Elevation doesn't mean you're a sellout. It doesn't mean you're turning your back on your people or your principles. It just means you're creating opportunities. I mean, opportunities that might not have existed before. BFD, he keeps pushing no matter what. And I got to salute that hustle because a lot of folks give up when things don't pop off right away. But this dude, he just keeps grinding. And that's why I believe he's one right move away from blowing up. And when he does blow up, and I believe he will, you already know how it's going to go. Folks who weren't showing love before are suddenly going to be like, oh yeah, I've been rocking with BFD since day one. Nah, bro. We remember who was there and who wasn't. But that's just the game, right? So, BFD, if you ever hear this, keep doing your thing. Stay solid. Stay grinding. And don't be afraid to make those moves that'll take you to the next level. Because at the end of the day, your elevation is going to help more people than you even realize. And that's the real definition of winning. When your success becomes a blueprint for somebody else's come up, you know what I mean? So stay up. Salute to you, BFD. Northern California's watching, and we got your back. Let's see you take this thing all the way to the next level. So man, let's talk about Northern California rappers who don't get enough shine and why they don't get enough shine. And I gotta ask why, What do they need to do? Pull a lefty gunplay and shove a clavo in the prison safe up the booty just to get a little recognition and some attention? Or what? I mean, come on. The beats hit different. The lyrics are solid. And the storytelling is raw. So what's the holdup? Look, we all know there are only a handful of outlets for Northern artists to push their music. If you ain't tapped in with the right podcasts, labels, or YouTube channels, you might as well be rapping into a pillow. And let's be real. Could it be that big labels are scared to touch NorCal artists because of Southern California politics? You already know how deep that history runs. Ain't no denying that certain names and certain affiliations will have industry folks looking the other way like they ain't see nothing, right? But here's my thing. What's it gonna take for a Northern rapper to go truly mainstream? Because we got talent, we got hunger, the music is there. But when you compare who's made it to the top, like I consider Burner one who's really made it, you know what I mean? Done it at a mainstream level. I mean, that man built an empire, cookies, music, branding. He elevated. But if you listen to Burner's music, there's a key difference. Northern rappers, for the most part, keep it too real. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean it in a too raw for the industry way. The lyrics, street politics, the content, a little too direct. The industry, they don't like that. Why? I mean, I don't know. Problems, I guess, down the road. They like pain music. They like the struggles, the come-up stories, the real life. But if every track is about airing out ops, the industry is like, nah, we ain't touching that. I ain't saying anyone should stop being who they are. Hell no. If you're a gangster, be a gangster. If you're a hustler, be a hustler. But what I am saying is this. If more Northern rappers focus on making music about their own pain, struggles, and come-ups without even mentioning the other side, I promise more would go viral. Because look at the trends. What do people love? They love to hear about real life struggles, about the prison stories, the hard times, the lessons learned. You don't have to rap about who you got funk with. Rap about what you went through. That hits way harder when it touches the soul, hits the heart, you know what I mean? And makes people think. So what's it gonna take? Do we need to start our own record labels? I mean, I know there's some. Our own platforms? We need more of them. Do we need to get these podcasts, these big influencers to start tapping in with Northern Cali more? Or do we need the artists to switch up the approach just a little bit? All I know is Northern California got too much talent to be overlooked like this. I mean, you got not only BFD, but GB, one of my favorites because he represents a 209 and he stays hustling. You got AWACS, Rico Too Smooth, Bands from the Rose, Big Tone, Lazy Boy, and the list goes on. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to see one of our own break through and take this whole thing to another level. The question is, who's going to be the one to do it? You know, there's something that's been on my mind for a while. And this goes back to elevating. Why is it that when someone moves out of Northern California, people act like they aren't from Northern California anymore? Now I'm going off, I'm going off the subject a little bit. There's something that was on my mind. Like, bro, if you grew up in the trenches went through the trials and tribulations of the politics and earned your stripes in the hood and in prison, you're always going to be from North, no matter where you lay your head. I'm talking about the solid ones. I'm not talking about those with funny paperwork or are no longer any good. You know what I mean? I mean the ones in Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Colorado, wherever. You're still from NorCal. But nah, some folks will be quick to say, oh, you're not like us no more. They be on that Kendrick Lamar talking about, they're not like us. They're not like us. Just because you decided to take a different path, like moving to find a better opportunity, makes you less real or something. Man, let me tell you something. Moving isn't disloyal. It's strategic. You don't stop being who you are just because you cross state lines. And look, I know what some people are going to think or say. Oh, he's out there on some sellout stuff. Nah, homie. I'm still good in the hood, still tapped in, still respecting the same morals and values I grew up with. The only difference is I'm trying to build something now. And I'm not talking about terrorizing communities, slanging dope, or riding around looking for ops. That cycle, I've been there, done that. And I'm on to the next level of elevation. Here's the thing. A lot of us turn to crime because we didn't see any other opportunities. Excuse me. And I get it. Trust me, I do. You catch a felony and boom. There go your chances of getting a decent job. No job equals no loan. No loan equals no house. No job, no credit, no loan, no house. And just like that, you're stuck on this hamster wheel, running but never getting anywhere. But what I'm trying to say is we can break out of that cycle. We don't have to keep taking penitentiary chances to prove we're real. Elevating doesn't mean you're disloyal. It means you're opening doors for yourself and the next generation. Look, I got daughters, sister, grandsons, and homies still in Northern Cali. Moving out of state didn't change any of that. My daughter is still my daughter. My homies are still my homies. That bond doesn't disappear just because my address did. And what I'm trying to do now is build something that they can benefit from too, right? We got to start thinking about legacy. How are we setting up the next generation? What are we doing to make sure they don't have to go through the same struggles we did? That's the real flex. Not just surviving, but thriving and helping others do the same. And I'm not saying it's easy. It's hard to move out of your comfort zone, especially when politics are involved. But sometimes you got to take the blinders off and realize there's a whole world out there. And you can move through it with the same respect, the same morals, and the same code that you had back home. So to all my people out there still grinding in Northern Cali, and to the ones who moved out to create something better, keep pushing, keep building, and don't let anyone make you feel like you're less real just because you're trying to elevate. That's not disloyalty, that's growth. And if we're not growing, we're staying stuck. And me, I've been there, I've done that. And I'm on to the next level. And I want to see all of us win. Not just for ourselves, but for the generation coming up behind us. That's the mission. Stay real, stay respectful. And most importantly, keep moving forward. Hit that like, subscribe button.